breaking. The moment the world feared has just begun. At exactly this hour inside the most explosive choke point on Earth, something has changed and there is no going back. On April 11th, two advanced Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, the USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. and the USS Michael Murphy, boldly transited the strait, cutting through waters laced with hidden threats. Have just pushed straight through waters seeded with hidden threats, sending a message that echoes far beyond the Gulf. This is not deterrence anymore. This is direct confrontation. The Strait of Hormuz is no longer just a trade route. It is now a battlefield. But what you're seeing is only the surface. Beneath them, an invisible force is already in motion, hunter-killer drones sweeping the depths, searching for something that could ignite a global crisis in seconds. And here's the question no one is answering yet. Was this a show of force, or the first move of something much bigger? Stay with us because what happens next could change the balance of power in the Middle East overnight. The tension ignited the moment the American destroyers entered the strait. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps naval units swarmed into action, aggressively tracking the U.S. vessels with fast attack boats and surveillance assets. Radio channels crackled with open challenges and final warnings from Iranian forces, broadcasting threats that carried the weight of potential escalation. The U.S. ships pressed forward undeterred, calmly affirming their right to navigate international waters in full compliance with established maritime law and the fragile ceasefire framework. At the height of this dangerous standoff, reports confirmed that American forces engaged and destroyed an Iranian-directed drone that had closed in, too aggressively neutralizing the immediate aerial threat with precision and overwhelming firepower. Tehran immediately pushed back with denials, claiming the American warships had turned tail under pressure, while simultaneously vowing far harsher responses against any future military presence in the strait. The conflicting narratives only heightened the drama unfolding in real time across this critical 21-mile-wide passage. This high-stakes naval showdown comes at a pivotal moment. Just hours earlier, marathon negotiations in Pakistan between U.S. and Iranian delegations had collapsed after more than 21 hours of intense talks. Vice President J.D. Vance, leading the American side, emerged to accuse Iran of committing a grave strategic error, signaling that Washington's patience had reached its limit. The failed diplomacy has cleared the path for bolder military measures. Behind the scenes, the deployment of these destroyers and the imminent arrival of autonomous underwater vehicles point to a calculated American plan to forcibly unlock Hormuz regardless of Tehran's obstruction. Beneath the surface of these turbulent waters lies an insidious and chaotic danger created by Iran itself. During the height of recent hostilities, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy hurriedly scattered naval mines using small boats in a frantic bid to disrupt international shipping. Contact mines, magnetic and acoustic-triggered devices, and drifting explosives were deployed with little regard for precision or long-term control. Strong undercurrents in the Gulf quickly carried many of these weapons miles away from their intended positions, turning the strait into a drifting, invisible death trap. Iran has effectively lost command over the very monster it unleashed. These rogue mines now pose an existential risk to massive tankers, commercial vessels, and naval assets alike, threatening to trigger a catastrophic chain reaction that could ignite a wider regional inferno. Yet the American response has been resolute and methodical. The USS Frank E. Peterson Jr., part of the powerful Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, and the independently deployed USS Michael Murphy are no ordinary vessels. Equipped with the world's most sophisticated Aegis combat systems, these floating fortresses can detect and track threats across hundreds of miles with their advanced radar arrays and integrated weapon suites. Their transit through the mine-infested waters was not merely a show of force. It served as the opening move to establish and secure a new safe transit corridor, paving the way for merchant shipping to resume under American protection. Shortly after the destroyers completed their daring passage and began operating in the Arabian Gulf, 3 massive supertankers successfully followed in their wake, gliding through the once hostile waters as the first commercial vessels to test the emerging route. This breakthrough sent an unmistakable signal the rusty locks on global energy flows are beginning to crack open under the pressure of U.S. naval power. The real heavy lifting in the dangerous depths, however, will fall to the next wave of American assets in the coming days. Lethal autonomous underwater drones and specialized mine warfare systems will deploy silently beneath the waves. These unmanned vehicles, often described as knife fish for their sleek, predatory design, will methodically scan, locate, and neutralize the scattered Iranian mines with surgical precision. Their mission is to carve out a reliable, narrow corridor through the 21-mile constriction, allowing oil-laden tankers to complete the vital transit in roughly 7 hours once again. If successful, this operation could restore up to 40% of normal strait traffic in the initial phase, delivering immediate relief to strained global energy markets. But the stakes extend far beyond mine clearance. President Donald Trump has used characteristically direct language to outline America's broader determination. He made clear that the United States stands ready to open the strait by any necessary means, even without full NATO support, emphasizing unilateral action if required. Following the collapse of talks in Pakistan, Trump signaled a chilling strategic doctrine that has been dubbed the Out-Blockade in military and media circles. Should Iran continue to obstruct safe passage or refuse to fully neutralize the mine threat, it created the U.S. Navy could impose a comprehensive lockdown on maritime traffic through Hormuz. Under this approach, American forces would assume effective control over all entrances and exits, inspecting, diverting, or blocking vessels as they see fit, effectively stripping Tehran of any say in who sails these waters. This is not simply about reopening a route. It represents a direct challenge to Iran's self-proclaimed dominance over one of the planet's most critical energy arteries. The Fifth Fleet remains on high alert across the region, with the Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group providing a massive umbrella of firepower. From its decks, squadrons of F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters and F/A-18 Super Hornets can establish air superiority over the strait within minutes, while surface combatants form an impenetrable steel wall. Additional Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, Ticonderoga-class cruisers, and P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft stand ready for rapid reinforcement. If escalation occurs, these assets could transform the narrow waters into a fortified checkpoint system, capable of choking off a significant portion of Iran's oil export capacity, potentially up to 70%, through aggressive stop-and-search operations. In a worst-case scenario, should Iran violate the ceasefire outright by May and resume aggressive actions, the operation could expand into a full multinational effort. Logistical support from Gulf partners, combined with British vessels such as the RFA Cardigan Bay and French tripartite class mine hunters, along with potential contributions from NATO's standing mine countermeasures groups and Italian vessels, would create a comprehensive air, sea, and cyber patrol network. Even though some European nations have expressed reluctance to commit naval forces until full hostilities cease, the mounting energy crisis is already forcing a reevaluation. Skyrocketing oil prices, now climbing well beyond previous benchmarks with premiums for mine risk insurance multiplying, are sending shockwaves through global supply chains. The economic pain is universal and severe. Europe's fragile industries face potential collapse under sustained disruption. In Asia, powerhouses like China, Japan, South Korea, and India, all heavily dependent on Hormuz. For the majority of their oil imports are watching factories, slow refineries draw down stocks, and petrochemical sectors scramble for alternatives. Longer detours via the Cape of Good Hope add 10 extra days and double fuel costs, while the Suez Canal operates near capacity and carries its own security risks from Houthi threats. The ripple effects extend beyond fuel to natural gas fertilizers, plastics, and countless downstream products, fueling inflation and threatening debt crises in developing nations. Ironically, Iran's own strategy is inflicting self-harm by mining the strait through which it once exported 1.5 million barrels per day. Tehran has crippled its primary revenue source. Meanwhile, one major global actor observes the chaos with calculated satisfaction. Russia, burdened by sanctions and reliant on a shadow fleet for its energy exports, benefits immensely from the resulting oil price surge and the erosion of Western price caps. Higher revenues flow directly into Moscow's military-industrial machine, sustaining its efforts elsewhere. The crisis may also accelerate interest in Russia's Northern Sea route, offering an Arctic alternative independent of Middle Eastern volatility and generating new transit income for the Kremlin. This dangerous naval chess game in Hormuz pits advanced American carrier strike groups, guided missile destroyers, and underwater drone swarms against Iran's asymmetric arsenal of thousands of suicide drones and shore-based anti-ship ballistic missiles. The narrow, shallow waters at the strait's pinch point create a high-risk environment where reaction times are measured in seconds. Any direct hit on a U.S. warship could rapidly spiral into a broader confrontation with global consequences. What do you think will happen next in this high-tension showdown? Will the American mine-clearing operation and potential blockade force Iran to back down and allow safe passage? Or will Tehran's threats lead to a direct naval clash that reshapes the entire region? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. We read every one and want to know where you stand on this escalating maritime crisis. As the pieces continue to shift in the Strait of Hormuz, one thing is certain: the United States Navy is moving with speed and overwhelming capability to restore freedom of navigation, protect global energy security, and confront aggression head-on. The world watches as American warships and underwater systems challenge the chaos Iran unleashed. Stay locked in, because the next developments in this naval drama could come at any moment and carry consequences that reach every corner of the planet. This has been your rapid update from the front lines of international security. Thank you for joining us. If you want more in-depth analysis of naval operations, carrier strike group deployments, and unfolding maritime conflicts, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Share this report with fellow viewers who follow global defense trends, and let us know in the comments what you believe the endgame in Hormuz will look like. The steel is in the water. The drones are diving deep and the tension is rising. We will bring you the latest as it breaks. Disclaimer: this video contains content generated or supported in whole or in part by artificial intelligence. This material is intended solely for simulation, illustration, and entertainment purposes. It does not represent real-world events, nor does it constitute political or military advice or verified information. Certain elements may be fictional, dramatized, or inaccurate. Viewers should not rely on this video as a credible source of information or as a basis for real-world decision-making.